Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are ready to kick off this. You've got questions, I have answers with Christy and Julie. You guys, I am excited to be back. Welcome back to the live Q&As on Thursday mornings where I answer the questions that single moms may have as they navigate this journey as a single mom, life as a single mom. If you are co-parenting, solo parent, you have a village, however, and whatever scope that you are a single mom. Listen, I want to be your mentor, your big sis, your the one that you look up to with the answers, the questions to the questions that you may have, where life just keeps knocking you down or you can't get over that hurdle or that hump as a single mom, and you're doing everything within your power and you've decided to connect with me. Thank you so much for connecting with me on this morning. I'm excited to be here another week. I have been missing a couple of months. We've been away from each other for a month, I would say, almost 40, almost 52 days, right? On the 19th, it will make 52 days. But we are ready to unearth or dive into those questions that you may have as a single mom. And as always, if you have a question that you would like for me to answer, please make sure you reach out to Team Christy Angeli at gmail.com with the questions that you may have in order to get your questions answered. And I'm sure that the gems that will be provided and the wisdom that will be provided, the knowledge that will be provided, the understanding will be provided will help you navigate this journey as a single mom with the mental and practical guidance and strategies you need to reclaim your life of abundance. So we are going to go ahead and delve into today's topic, but first we're going to pray, okay? Because we always want to make sure we honor and we ask a higher power, and that higher power for me is Christ Jesus, that come in and give us the guidance, the wisdom that we need in order for us to effectively and successfully apply the tools and the gems and the strategies that we may be receiving on today. Heavenly Father, you have a plan for us as single moms as we face different experiences, living situations, different challenges in our life, and victories and joys in our life. So, Holy Spirit, we ask that you provide the plan that the Father has for us as we, those that may be navigating this particular space of living well with others. We thank you. We love you. In Jesus' name, it is so and so it shall be. Amen. Now, I'm going to try and do something really quick here. I want to see if I can grab my notes really fast because I want to make sure that I am giving you exactly what it is that you are in need of on today. So let's see if I can do this. Oh, wow. Look at that. We got it. We got it because I want to make sure that everything that I have written down for you, you receive it well. And there is no upsets. There is no setbacks and there are no hurdles. So today in our live Q&A session, we'll be addressing a crucial topic for single moms: how to live well with others, especially in the context of living with family members. Okay. Are you in this space? Are you a part of the community that is living with family members? And it could be really challenging, right? You are having to live with family members in this new arena, in this new space that you're in. You're no longer that little girl. You're no longer just that teenager. You're no longer just that adult woman. Now you are an adult woman or a 18-year-old with a child or with children. And so living with others can be a bit challenging. It can present new opportunities or new challenges or new um, mental guidance that you need and strategies that you need in order for you to live well in this space with others. Okay. And so for me, I have had to navigate this space 3 times. I'm in my third time now, right? Of living well with others. Twice we've been in a communal setting, which is always a community setting when you're living with others. But the community settings we've been in is living well with others in women's shelters. So we had to navigate that, understand our challenges and how to be in space with other people that were not even your family members, right? No one that you knew personally, no one that you had any contact with. So just being in that space altogether presents discomforts. It presents uneasiness. It presents worries and stress of itself because you don't know these individuals at all. You don't know their background. You don't know their family. That you don't know you don't even know their names. You're just all of a sudden, for me, it was all of a sudden put into this other world that was completely different from your world, completely different from my world. And having to, one, we're going to be talking on these strategies that I have of understanding how to navigate living well with others, knowing your why, knowing why I was in these spaces. Number 2 is preparing not only myself, but my children as well. So you have to know your why, prepare yourself and your children to be able to live in these spaces well, to be able to live in these spaces, not only as in a ethical and moral type of standpoint, but from a mental and emotional wellness standpoint as well. As you all know, I'm a holistic person, so we want to apply holistic strategies or look at this from a holistic manner, and also living well from a spiritual standpoint. So you want to be in these spaces. So we had to navigate these spaces and understand our why. Our first why of going into a communal setting was because we had to flee a toxic environment. I was married for 8 years, and throughout the years, there were, unhealthy situations we were faced in, if it was mental or emotional or spiritual. But at the end, like towards the end of that 8th year, it became more of a physical, unhealthy environment. So we ended up having to literally run for our life. And so we ended up in a women's shelter that was miles and miles away from our familiar territory. And so that took on a different mentality, emotional state, spiritual state, and also took on a different type of protection, because you want to protect your children. You want to protect them from the influences that could be possibly within that communal setting, and also the influence in a new environment, in a new state, in a new city, in a new, just a whole new community. So you want to make sure that you know your why of being there. Understanding that, be smart, have a smart goal about yourself. So be smart. So you want to know your why. I have 5 strategies that we're going to delve into. 1 is know your why. Number 2 is prepare yourself and your children. Number 3 is be smart. Number 4 is communication. And so in this particular setting, I had to communicate with the ones that were in authority of that place, right? Authority of the women's shelter that we had to live in. So I had to communicate with them, listen to their expectations, and listen to how we are to live in this communal space together, and what they were requiring of us in order for us to live well within that space and live well when we come out of that space. And then the 5th one is have an exit plan. This is huge. This is big. This is one that I live and I love and I live by, and I have my children living by them as well. And so when I am talking to single moms who are reclaiming their life of abundance, this is one of the key things I put into place, is having an exit plan. So let's get into what all of this looks like, right? By applying these strategies, knowing your why, you really want to get a pen and a notepad for this, okay? You want to make sure you're taking these notes because you may be one that is currently living with others and you are having a hard time living with others. Your children may be having a hard time living with others, or you may be viewing this in a a different type of communal setting, such as living in a women's shelter. So again, we've had to go through two different women's shelter, and so understanding your purpose, understanding your why, and not allowing the circumstances to determine your outcome and your why. Sometimes our why can simply be because we have no other choice right now. There is no other doors open for us. We don't have the finances. We don't have the family members that we can go to. We don't have the support group. And this was our only resort. So understanding your why and knowing why you were there. So by applying these strategies, single moms can navigate the complexities of communal living with confidence and resilience, ensuring a harmonious and supportive environment for themselves and their families, right? Because that's what we're looking for. That is a why. Why are we living in these spaces? And sometimes our why can be just really, like I said, surface level. Like, I don't have anywhere else to go. This is the only resort. This is my last. This is the only place in such a quick moment of time. I am losing my home or my apartment because I couldn't pay my rent. I can't pay. So we're needing somewhere to stay. That can be a one level why, a in the moment why. But then you want to really take time to understand your why. Why am I in this space? Okay. So by applying these strategies, we can ensure a harmonious support environment for themselves and their families. Let's dive into each one of these points. I have 5 points that I want to dive into for the next few minutes. Let me check my time, 7:17. So for the next 13 minutes that we have together. And if you have any questions, I want this to be not just a monologue, but a dialogue. So if you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, and if you are in this place or in this space, just let me know. Lift your hands and say, I'm there. This is me. I'm living in a communal setting, and I am having the darnest time navigating this space well. Okay. And so we're going to talk about it. We're going to share. We're going to gain wisdom, insight, gems, and nuggets so that you can be able to live in this space well. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let me know that you're ready by simply saying ready in the chat. Let me know that you're ready by simply replying, I am ready. Okay. And if you stay to the end, I have some wonderful information, some wonderful resources that I'm going to give to you at the end of this Q&A. And I cannot wait to see how it all works out for you. So we're going to talk about the first one. Okay. And I already gave my little backstory on my journey in navigating. I think I'm going to share some more in these specific areas that I'm talking on today, because this is not just I wanted to make sure when I was thinking over this question and understanding every person have a different reason for living with the people that you are living with right now. Okay, you may be living with your ex because you may not have the finances, or you may be living with the mother, you may be living with the elderly parent, grandparent, you may be living with a sibling, you may be living with the aunt, you may be living with church members or your leaders of your church, or someone from your workplace, however you find yourself, whoever you're living with. I wanted to make sure this information that I was given was universal. It wasn't just based off of my experiences, and it won't apply to anyone else because, oh, you don't know my situation. My situation is different. My situation, I'm living with, I have to live with my ex because of A, B, and C. And so even though this situation is not the ideal, or I'm having to live with, in a women's shelter. So I wanted to make sure that when I am sharing the answers to this question, or this topic of navigating um, communal living space as well, I wanted to make sure that the strategies and the mental and practical guidance that I give is implementable, for any person that may be listening and joining in on this morning, or whether you may be catching the replay. So know your why. Number one is knowing your why, understanding the underlying motivation behind your actions. As I opened up with earlier, my motivation before for my first move was because we had to flee a unhealthy environment, and so it was one court ordered, it was court suggested, I would say. And so therefore, in order for us to stay safe, my children and I to stay safe, we had to flee into another city, right? In order for my children and I to be safe. So understanding the motivation behind it, underlying motivation behind your actions and decisions as a single mom, this is crucial, okay? Because if you have some why that is just not attached to anything, then you won't make the most out of the situation that you're in. You'll become resentful. You'll become bitter. You'll become mentally, disturbed and depressed, and you become toxic, right? So understanding the motivation behind your why, so that you may be able to enter in these situations with the right mindset and the right mind frame, even if it is, I had to flee, right? So it's about defining your purpose and values, which can serve as a compass in navigating challenges and making choices that align with your vision for yourself and your family. And so I had that moment when I was having to flee the first time, have to go the first time to a women's shelter, in order for me to understand my why there, I had to get my mind together. It's not just about I'm having to flee this situation. That is one, but also I am needing to be in a space so my children and I can reclaim our life. Right? We needed to be in a space for protection. We needed to be in a space for reclaiming our life of abundance. We needed to be in a space so that we can have a place so we can transition from one place to the next. So it became like our launching pad. So understanding your why. So going through all of this, you have to sit and you have to think about why. What is your why? And if it is fleeing, then you have to also prepare yourself and your children. Number two, prepare yourself and your children. Preparation is key to successfully managing the dynamics of single parenthood. So preparation, preparing yourself, preparing your children, helping them to navigate this new phase in their life, this new journey in their life, whether it's a baby, or whether it's a semi-teenager, those that are not, they're 13, and, you're still having to make the decisions for them. They're still in your household, all the things. So having to prepare them, help them navigate this new living situation, is key, because if you're not preparing yourself, then you're not preparing, and you're not preparing your children. You will go into this space and you will become stressed out. You will allow the emotions of what's going on to dictate how you're going to respond and receive from this place. This place can be a place of comfort, or it could become a place of threat, right? So you want to make sure where you're going is a place of comfort and not of threat. So you want to do this by preparing yourself and your children. This involves both practical preparations, such as organizing schedules and routines, as well as emotional preparation, which may include addressing feelings of anxiety or uncertainty that can arise in single parent households. This is something that I had to do with my children when we moved into a women shelter, a communal living. I did not know what to expect. I didn't know what was going on. We were trying to get ourselves together. Honestly, we were just trying at that moment. Like, this is what we were having to do. Okay, boys, we're going to be away from the ones that we love, but this doesn't mean that our love or their love is not with us, and that God is with us, and I'm here. And while we are going into this space and doing it from a healthy manner, right? Not bashing the ex, not bashing anyone that may be involved and may have caused this sudden move in your life into a communal space, such as a women's shelter, or living with a parent or an elderly person, or someone that is outside your what you thought was going to be a forever type of relationship, right? So being a single mom, maybe you had an apartment and you lost your job, or something took place into where you are having to now pick up and move with someone else. So you want to prepare yourself and your children, because this can be an overwhelming thing for a baby. So I would say, how do you prepare a baby? Like, the baby is only 6 months. The baby is only 10 months. What changes affects babies as well. Okay. So talking to the baby, helping them to calm down, because they can feel your emotions. So you prepare your babies by preparing yourself. Your babies can feel the changes of environment. So just because they're one, just because they're 6 months, just because they are 3 months, does not mean that the environment or this new transition is not affecting them as well, because it is. So the way you respond, the way you're handling, if you're in a uptight position or frustrated, and your emotions are all over the place, then it's going to affect their sleeping pattern. It's going to affect their mood. It's going to affect their joy, because they feel the change and they cannot express it with their language, verbal language. So they express it in different ways. They may cry more. They may stay awake longer, or they may sleep longer. All these different changes that comes along with having to transition into another space, a communal space with an infant, with a child. So preparing them is how do you prepare them? By preparing yourself, by knowing your why. Okay. So, and sticking to your routine, understanding your routine, having this in place. Okay. So this equipping yourself and your children with the tools they need to thrive. You can foster resilience and adaptability in the face of adversity. So helping them by helping you, then this leads into number 3 is being smart. Be smart. In other words, have a specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals. Like, this is mind blowing, right? Like, be smart. Have a smart goal, setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound goals. So, smart is essential for single moms seeking to live well with others, whether it's financial goals. So, this goes back to knowing your why. This goes back to preparing yourself. Now you can go into this next step of being smart. Okay. So, sometimes it's like, I didn't have time to prepare myself. We were just thrust into this situation. We had to pick up and move immediately. So I didn't have time to go through all these steps. All right. Now, when you are in this new space, calm yourself down, calm your mind, and begin to think, begin to allow yourself to go through these steps, these strategies here. Why am I here now? Okay. My first why was this, but now let's take a deeper understanding and why I am here. Maybe it was some things that you did prior to that may have led you to this space. Okay. Everybody have their situations. Everybody living in communal spaces is different than mine. So we want to make sure that your why leads you to having a smart goal, being smart. Okay. So you want to understand if it's financial goals, career aspirations, or personal development objectives. Having smart goals allows you to track your progress and stay focused on what matters most. All right. Because we can become so distracted and so focused on the facts to where our vision and our future becomes this obscured thing. It becomes blurred to us because we're so focused on this. So if we have a smart goal, be smart about ourselves, then we won't lose focus on, all right, my why can change. My why was this. Now let's graduate just from I had to flee, and then that's it. I had no other choice but to run. So let's move past that. Let's pick up a why to say, I had to flee. These are the reasons I had to flee, because I chose the wrong person. I didn't know how to build relationship well. I didn't know how to be loved well. So now your why has evolved into something else that has something to do with personal development, right? So I'm in this space because I didn't have the right personal development, the right identity. And so therefore I allowed myself to attach myself to something or someone that wasn't healthy for me, or to a place that wasn't, if it's financial goals, I didn't have the right money mindset. I didn't know how to manage money well. So now I'm in this space because my why has changed and evolved, right? So you want to have SMART goals. We're about done. We have two more and I'm going to be done, and I'm going to share with you what I have for you. Communication is key as well. Effective communication is fundamental to building and maintaining healthy relationships, both within your family and beyond. So my second space of having to do with a communal living was when I moved to Texas Baptist Children's Home. I moved from an apartment to Texas Baptist Children's Home because I was living in a different state. And so in order for me, that became my launching pad. Like, okay, this transition is going to work for me because I had my why and I understood it wasn't because I was running or fleeing or anything like that. I'm making this transition, and so the money where I was where I was working wasn't paying enough for me to be able to, okay, a cost of living here, and so. So moving from that space to that space, Texas Baptist Children's Home was a phenomenal opportunity for us to realign ourselves, reassign ourselves, repurpose ourselves. So communication in these spaces, I've learned how to communicate in a communal setting. For one, off of the first one and off of this, they had the rules and the what to expect and the meetings that took place regularly. So learning how to pick up communication, the right communication language, effective communicating. And so this also goes into knowing those that labor among you, knowing if you're in a communal living with siblings and or any family member. All right. So know them. It's a different dynamics where you are having to live with family versus that you coming to visit family. Now you're with them 24/7. And so you get to see them in this new space. They get to see you in this new space of who you are, what you're like, who they are, what they're like, their attitudes, their personality, their character, their temperament, all of these things. Now you have to learn them in this space. They have to learn you in this space. So effective communication is key, right? As a single mom, clear and open communication with your children, again, or your co-parent, if applicable, extended family members and support network can help prevent misunderstandings, resolve conflicts, and foster a sense of connection and trust. So many of you know, now I am in a space where I am living with my brother-in-law and my sister. So learning how to navigate this space, learning how to live well with them, learning their likes, learning their dislike. Communication is key, right? And yes, there are some moments where we don't communicate all the time of what's going on. We share bits and pieces. But communication is key to successfully living well with others. All right. So we're going to move on to this last strategy that I have for you. And like I said, this is one of my favorite strategies that I have. So first we talked about knowing your why. Second, it was prepare yourself and your children. The third was be smart, have SMART goals. All right. And the fourth was communication. And this last one, I feel like is just, have an exit plan. Have an exit plan. I know you have your SMART goals. I know that you are working towards those things, but sometimes you just have to have an exit plan. Even if you are at the last step of your SMART goal, you are almost there to achieving what you are wanting to achieve before you're ready to move on or ready to get your own place, all the things, right? But No one likes to think about worst case scenarios. Living scenarios, having an exit plan in place can provide peace of mind and ensure your safety and well-being in case of emergencies. You never know what's going to take place, so therefore you want to have an exit plan. Okay, it looks different for you. You may say my exit plan is okay, I've called a someone else just in case something happened. So you always want to have someone on call. You want to make sure, okay, hey, listen, I'm staying here. You want to have your bags packed up so you could quickly go to where you needed to go for whatever the reason it is until you're able to get everything else out that space, give a timeline so that you can communicate this well. If you have to flee overnight, if you have to, okay, I need to leave sooner because this living arrangement isn't working well for us. I've tried everything. Sometimes once you start living with people and you start to find them out, you find out that y'all are not compatible in the same space. And sometimes that is due to learning how to humble yourselves under the authority of that home. Right? You could be living with someone if you haven't come into the home where, okay, we've purchased this home together. We're all sharing this space. So there's different ways to coming into a space, right? If it's with siblings, you all decided to purchase and we're all living in this space together. So we're sharing on the bills, we're sharing on the maintenance, we're sharing in A, B, and C. Okay, versus your siblings asked you to live with them because they see that you are out of options, or you're asking them, hey, can we just come and move in with you for this amount of time? That's where the SMART goal. This is your why, your preparation, all these things. Have it already laid out. Okay. And sometimes you get with them and we don't want to, our ways, I'm gonna use a little Bible verse here. Our ways are not their ways, right? And there is nothing wrong with that. You have a right to be you and live the way your lifestyle. But when you are in the authority of someone else's home and they are the ones that pretty much taking care of the bulk of the responsibilities of the home, submitting yourself under their authority, right? Understanding their rules, understanding how they move, how their expectations and all the things, right? So that you all can flow in the home together. So 9 times out of 10, I would say pride is the reason why some people have to flee instead of learning how to work well in that space together. Sometimes it is, oh, I just can't take it anymore. They are this, that, and the other, instead of learning how to, okay, this is how they are. And so I am going to learn how to work well in this space, live well in this space. It's nothing wrong with taking on okay, this is their space. Okay, what is it that they like and don't like? If you're in the space and they say, hey, take off your shoes, and and they kind of get a little really angst about that, it can become a problem to you, but you don't have to allow a problem to be a problem because that's their rules. And when you're in their home, you abide by their rules. All right, you abide by their space. It's theirs. It's not yours. You were there temporarily. Remember that. So again, the reasons why you were there, then you have to come to some terms of agreement. If you were coming into this space and you all are sharing the space, you decided before, hey, we're going to purchase this home together, or we're going to share the cost of this home. And then if the shoe issue is a shoe issue and that one person, want you to take off their shoes every time you come in the house or whatever the case may be, then that's where you guys have to communicate, and both of you guys have to hey, that's your rules for you. I don't mind, but then love and kindness come in. Okay. Understanding. All right. And what is it going to hurt you to take off your shoes when you come into the house? Is it going to, what damage is that going to do to you? If that is something that is, you want to live well in that space. So what is it going to hurt you? That's not your thing. That's not your tea. But if you try to live well in the space, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you. Take your shoes off. There's some things that we can do that will cause us to, live well in the space, or have they do this, and we want to, then that will become a bigger problem, right? Because we don't want to understand one another in this new space and new realm they are. Communication to talk about it, right? Okay, so different scenarios, different dynamics, right? One, y'all coming together, say, we're going to get this space together. We're going to live together. We're all sharing, da, 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 versus you coming into somebody else's home. And this is the rules they have for their home. If this is the rules they have there for their home, you abide by their rules of their home. It's going to help you to live well, right? And don't hold it in your heart. Ooh, they just do this, because then that's going to cause other issues to arise. Then that little things is going to spread into something else, and then you're going to have something else that you're wanting to have a case, an unnecessary case against the people you're living with, against the person you're living with, because they have this one way that you don't like them doing. And so now it's going to spread into something totally bigger instead of just, it's their space. It is their space. Okay. So, but if it's something that an exit plan is great to have, whether it's a plan for leaving an abusive relationship or a contingency plan for unexpected challenges, knowing you have a plan B can empower you to take action and protect yourself and your children. We are way over our time. That's all the time we have. We have had. Thank you so much for allowing me to borrow 11 more minutes. I pray these 5 strategies will give you the strength you need to live well with others. As someone who is known for empowering single mothers with the mental and practical guidance they need to reclaim their life of abundance, I'm offering a one-on-one free consultation to address specific challenges you are facing as a single mom. You can schedule your free consultation by visiting bit.ly, bit.ly WYIC holistic transformational coaching, all in caps. And again, that's WYIC holistic transformational coaching. And I can't wait to see you on the other side of abundance.